What if Deku had Goku Black's powers? Part 6. So where I left it off was Deku just beat All Might in the final, and he handcuffed him, basically just beat it single-handedly because Bakugo got knocked out almost instantly. So Deku just won, and now it's time for the training camp arc. So all the people that failed are in the classroom, just kind of sad. And Mr. Oz always like, yeah, you guys are lucky because we're taking you too. Everyone needs the experience, and they're all celebrating. Then he's like, but you'll have to do extra activities, extracurricular, or like extra learning activities, basically to make them smarter. So they'll have to do that, and they're kind of like, yay. They're happy, but not also sad, because they're not gonna have to do summer school now because of it. So that passes, and now they're going to the training cave, and they're just about to, and I'm not sure which one has the ground cork, but that one uses the ground cork and makes all of them fall, besides Deku, because he sensed that this was going to happen, and he's just floating there. And then he looks back at the Wild Wild Pussycat and says, do you really think you could get me with that trick? As he just starts flying the other way really fast, and like, wait, does that kid have a flying cork? And then Mr. Oz was like, you guys don't really know, do you? The kid's not even a human. He's a Saiyan god. And he doesn't have a cork. It's just his power. And they're all just like, what? This kid doesn't have a cork and he's a god? Wait, why is he going to UA? I think it's just because he wants to get his hero license. And Mr. Is always like, he doesn't need a hero license. He doesn't have a cork. So he's just going there so he can say did it. It says it was easy. Like, Deku. So they're like, dang, we have to get there quickly. And Deku gets there in like less than a second, just from how fast his flying is. So Deku's just sitting there, and he decides to just sit on the ground and takes a nap there. So it's been 5 hours, basically, and the heroes, just the Wild Wild Pussycats, just get there, and they're waiting for the students to arrive, and he's like, wait, where's that kid? I thought he would have gotten here by now. And then they're about to enter when one of them trips over something. He says, what? What happened? And they're like, whoa, kid, how'd you get here so fast? And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, when'd you get here? He looks at his time and says, shoot, I've been sleeping for 5 hours. And they're like, 5 hours? What? And that's about the time that all of the class gets there, and Deku's just sitting there looking really, really tired. He just looks over and sees all the students looking at him like, how do you look so energized? He says, well, I just took a nap here for 5 hours. And they're like, well, 5 hours? But we were in that forest for 5 hours. And he's like, yeah, I finished that 5 hours ago. And they're all looking at him like, what the heck? This kid really is a god. And they're all just pissed, like, how Deku just, like, beat all of them that quickly. So they just brush it off, and then it's time for dinner. They do dinner and stuff. And this time, when Deku goes up to shake Kota's hand, when Kota tries to punch Deku teleports right behind Kota and just grabs his hand and says, you shouldn't have done that, kid. And Kota looks at his eyes and just sees pure terror in his eyes, kind of like how the thumbnail is. And Deku's just basically, imagine him with a smirk instead of the smile with those crazy eyes, just smiling at him. You shouldn't have done that, kid. And he just falls right to the ground about to cry. And they're like, whoa, Izuku, don't do that again. It's like, what? I was just showing him power. I only used my eyes. And like he's basically just traumatized by this. And like, what the heck was that? So the day passes, and they're not really sure what to make Deku do. So they just ask Deku what does he think he could do. So Deku's just like thinking like, not quite sure. Because I don't have a quirk, it's just my power. The only thing I really could do is just do strength training. And they're like, good, do that. Deku's like, all right, so I'll be doing strength training. So Deku starts with his strength training, just doing that, and now it's nighttime. It's nighttime. They just finished dinner, and they're like, oh yeah, let's do the scare thing. And everyone just looks at Deku, and Deku's smiling and says, I obviously shouldn't be a part of this. I mean, if you guys see the look in my eyes when you try and scare me, you guys will probably die. And Deku's just smirking, looking all of them straight into the eye with a menacing look, and they're like, geez, yeah, I guess you shouldn't play. And they're all trying to make excuses to make him not play, and he's like, yeah, I guess I won't since you guys all don't want me to. I'd win anyway. Carried the whole team. And so all of that just breezes on by. And now it's time for the heroes, or time for the villains to arrive. So Shigaraki's like, dang, I want that kid so bad. You could see his anger with that form. It's amazing. So they all go. I don't think Shigaraki went in the main timeline, but I'm going to say Shigaraki actually goes. So Shigaraki goes, and they're all just saying, is it time now, boss? And then he's like, yes, it's time. Time for us to get a new recruit. And Deku just sees the flames. He's like, shoot, a villain attack. And all of them are like, geez, what's happening? Oh, it can't be a villain attack. It can't be. And then it is a villain attack, and he's like, wait, where's Kota? And they're like, shoot, where is Kota? So Deku's like, oh, I know where he is. And he says, I'll be right back. So Deku just runs right off. Well, he flies right off to to Kota's hideout to see Muscular about to attack Kota. And he's powering up a punch, and so Muscular's like, ha, finally killed somebody. To look down to see Deku holding up his pinky finger, blocking Muscular's punch, and he's like, what? That had to be a fluke. No way somebody like you could have blocked it. He just sees Deku's face, and he's like, you're that kid from the sports festival. Didn't you say you're a god? Wait, so if I kill you, that means I killed a god. It'll make me stronger than everyone. So he starts charging at Deku, and Deku's like, foolish mortal. Man, I really wish some people can actually be smarter. And so basically Deku whips out his scythe and cuts Muscular's arm clean off. Muscular's like, damn you, kid. And he starts charging at Deku, and Deku cuts off one of his legs. And he's like, ooh, looks like you're fresh out of 2 limbs. Would you like one? As Deku tosses a limb over to him, and he's like, what should I do with this? And Deku's just like, you idiot. Your core can connect muscles, right? Well, if the muscles are still attached, you should be able to attach your other muscles even though it's dead. Maybe give it a little light. Muscular sees this, and he tries to do it, and then Deku says, you really think I would have told you that, you idiot? And he's just laughing, basically like the thumbnail again. He's laughing like, oh, what an idiot, as he cuts off Muscular's other leg. Says, give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you. And he's like, please, I beg of you. And then Deku's like, oh yeah, right, I haven't cut off your other arm yet. And Deku cuts off his other arm and basically leaves Muscular to die, bleed out. And that's when one of the Nomus comes in and just punches Deku into a wall, and he's like, damn, I didn't think I could actually. And Deku, since he left his guard down, like he didn't have like his full protection up or something, so he got hit square in the head and was sent flying, and he's like about to drift off into consciousness. And Deku blacks out, and he wakes up, and he sees Goku Black, and he says, give me power. please. Or, no, Goku Black's like, give me your power or else you're gonna die. You'll let your friends die. Would you really want that? And Deku is like shaking his head like, what's going on? Thought you could never get this much control. And then he's like, well, you thought wrong. As Goku Black snaps his finger and he's in control now. And then he looks at Muscular and says, how could that stupid idiot let you live? Trying to hurt someone so useless. As he goes Super Saiyan, puts his key dagger on, which I'm basically just saying key surrounded by his hand, and just stabs it right through Muscular's heart, saying, ooh, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a heart down, and then cuts off his head. He's like, now that I've dealt with that idiot, now it's time to deal with this mindless little bird. As he jumps onto the Nomu, pulls out his scythe, and takes the nub of the scythe and just hits the Nomu right in the brain, and the Nomu just collapses. He picks up Kota and says, why'd you have to run off, kid? I didn't even want to save you. It's that stupid other kid that controls this body. And like Kota's like scared, like, what the heck? Other kid? What do you mean? And Deku drops Kota off and then yells at the heroes that he's going to save everyone. So Deku just starts bouncing around, looking for villains. He sees Bakugo and Todoroki fighting the Moonfish. So he jumps in, just one punches Moonfish. Well, he doesn't one punch him. He takes his scythe, cuts Moonfish right in half, and says, wow, now you're just a fish stick, and laughs because like the heat of his scythe starts to cook Moonfish basically, and he's like, dang, it smells like rotten flesh already, as he's laughing. And while that was happening, Mr. Compress actually got Bakugo, even though they were going after Midoriya, and then he asked Todoroki if he knew where Izuku Midoriya was, and Goku Black was like, isn't that the name of this kid? Who cares? As he runs over to Mr. Compress and says, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and I'm going to kill you, as he jumps onto Mr. Compress's back and snaps his neck, and Mr. Compress instantly falls down, and Todoroki seeing his limp body and says, damn it, what the hell, Deku? Why'd you kill him? It's not very hero-like. And he says, you think I'm Deku? I'm Goku Black, you idiot. As he jumps off to go find other villains. And he actually ends up finding a Nomu army about to kill Mr. Aizawa. And right before they were going to get the finishing punch, Deku slices half of their heads off and says, you really couldn't handle these mindless idiots. As Deku just starts laughing. And Deku just starts slicing them up, and he's just laughing and having fun as blood's going everywhere. Mr. Aizawa's like, not again. This kid's become insane thanks to that Goku Black guy. And Deku just jumps off and says, don't get yourself hurt, else you're going to die. So he jumps off. He's looking for Shigaraki, basically, because he knows he's the one after this, because he saw him at the USJ attack, and those Nomus, basically. So he's looking for Shigaraki, and he ends up running into Toga, about to hurt Uraraka. So he's like, you're not going to hurt any of my friends. And she's like, ooh, Izuku. And he's just like, fine, I'll have to kill you. But Deku basically stops Goku Black from killing her, and Deku Black just ends up cutting or knocking her out with just a tack to her neck. So yeah, that ends up happening. So I'm going to leave it off for now, guys. I'll finish this arc up and do the arc where you have to go back and try and get like Bakugo or whatever, or like the arc where I'll do something for part 7 tomorrow. See you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy, and please like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys.